Hey Patriots, welcome back to Appalachia Stand Prepper with Ocor 1057, your host. That's me. I know you're dying to ask, hey Ocor, what's in the big green box? I tell you what, let's make like Christmas and unwrap this package and see what we're getting. Put my 1911 out of the way, head that out today. Oh look, a Faraday cage. If you don't know what that is, go back and watch one of our earlier videos. But in the Faraday cage, I have something I want to show you that's important. I've got some of my miscellaneous electronics. Let me look to see where it's at. Right here it is. Anything you have that's based on, that may have a circuit board in it, whether it be some kind of night vision, whatever it may be that's electrical, if at all possible, try to store it in some kind of a Faraday protective device. It may make the difference, it may not, but you know, all you can do is try. So look here, big bag of bow things. That's a little brother to the AR-152. We're not gonna get into that today, but you can get them for about 20 bucks a piece down there on Amazon. I recommend drop a C-note, get you 5 of them. Don't program them. We'll get into that later. Just leave them the way they come. But what I want to talk about today, since we've been on kind of a big radio kick here at the beginning of this channel, not because we're radio experts, but because we know there's a steep learning curve. And we know through experience that it's going to be confusing and you're going to have a lot of questions. And we may not be the people to answer every technical question you have. We're just going to try to get you thinking that way. And there's going to have to be some work on your part to educate yourself. But we had the Baofeng AR-152. That's radio-to-radio communications. You can program them to hit a repeater if you want to do that. But we're basically concerned with simplex radio, which is just radio-to-radio. You can build your own repeaters. They're fairly easy. We could build a repeater and stash it on the ridge up here on the hill and extend the range quite a bit if we want to do that. Like I say, that's a whole other topic, but it's possible. You can actually use the Baofeng radios in more ways than you imagine. Now, I'm gonna stay in my lane, but there's some people out there that got some pretty nifty tricks that once you find out about them, you're gonna like them. But what I want to talk to you about today is shortwave radio. Now that's a little bit confusing in and of itself, because shortwave radio, the frequencies are actually long wavelengths. Back in the early days of radio, that term was developed because their lack of comprehensive knowledge of the radio spectrum. So it's stuck around. Shortwave radio used to be these big radios y'all see in the movies and stuff, the big floor model radios. Most of them were shortwave. They had the AM FM bands that we're used to today, but shortwave was a big thing, and it still is in third world parts of the country. Shortwave is long range radio. Now you can get into hams and be a ham radio operator and get into HF radio, high frequency radio. You know, like I say, it's basically a bottomless pit of knowledge and potential. I recommend to everybody, acquaint yourself with what's out there, and if you find something that interests you, stay with it and go as far as you can in it. We're just going to touch the tops of the high points on this, but this is something I think everybody should have. What it is, it's a shortwave radio receiver. I bought this about the time that COVID became a thing, but you don't do no talking on this, you just do the listening. Y'all remember the original Red Dawn when they sat around the fire that night and they was talking about, what was it? They said the radio guy said the red chair is against the wall or something like that. That was shortwave radio. Shortwave radio is still a legitimate means of transmitting news and information. Lots of different companies make them. You can get them more expensive than this with more possibilities, more capability. or you can buy pretty cheap ones. I'll show you. Here's a pretty cheap one right here. Got this for one of my sons. Some of you may recognize it if you look at the same catalogs and websites that I do, but it's hand crank. It's got some basic shortwave frequencies, but it's got AM, FM, and weather too. But I felt it was important, given the nature of communications in the 21st century, where it's really dependent upon the internet. Should we lose access to the internet, where will we get our news? You know, I don't know how many of our allies are truly allies these days, but you know, it don't hurt. The more you know, the more you can use to make decisions with. So these radios will pick up stations from around the world. You're gonna hear a lot of Spanish being spoken. You can pick up airliners with these. If you have that frequency component in your radio, there's a thing called single sideband. When it comes to radio communications, you can tune up single sideband on some of these shortwave radios, but you can listen to all the ham bands. This radio here, for what it is, has got a lot of capability. That's why I chose it. I'm not pushing this particular brand or model. I'm not even quite sure if they make this model. Pay attention to the type of battery if you choose to buy one, which you should. Get one with as much capability as possible. It just makes sense to do that. Pay attention to the battery, though, what type of battery they require. This one takes a special battery. I call it special because it's not common like a AA or a bunch of AA's or something like that. It's in the battery world, it's common, but you ain't gonna go down to Walmart probably and get one off the shelf. I've had to order all my extra batteries. I try to order about 3 new batteries per year, charge them up, write on them when they were put in service and when they were last charged. When you're messing with your radios, you need to number your batteries, even with your Baofeng radios or whatever walkie-talkie you may be using. You need to identify each radio, you need to identify each battery, and you need to keep a log of when you put them in service and when you charge them, if you leave them charged on standby, because eventually a battery will just quit working. So you need to bear in mind that you need to rotate your batteries probably annually. Buy a couple of extras for your Baofengs, buy a couple of extras for your shortwave, buy a couple of extras for your red dot, whatever it is you're running off battery, your night vision. Do not neglect to keep fresh batteries on hand. And it's hard to remember because you don't do it once a year. I mean, you know, sometimes it slips through the cracks. That's why you need to keep a logbook. I got a logbook down in this can, this Faraday cage. When I open it up to get something, I see that logbook. I'm like, hey man, I better check. I might need to charge these, or I might need to go buy 3 new batteries for whatever. So anyway, shortwave radio listens to news, entertainment around the world. Usually comes in better at night. Like I say, you can go and educate yourself on shortwave. This is not going to be the end-all be-all teaching you about shortwave. I just want you to realize that a shortwave radio will give you access to news from around the world, and you have to determine what's true and what's not. I mean, we're living in the age of AI where they're cloning people's voices. We're living in the deep fake videos. What's on screen? I mean, how many movies does Hollywood make these days when it's all done on the green screen and the actor just stands there in his costume? So think about it. We're going to be challenged with discerning reality from propaganda, from manipulation techniques. Don't let it run you crazy, because pretty soon you're chasing your tail. But we know up is up and down is down. Fire's hot. 2 + 2 is always 4. Water's wet. There's some things we have a way of keeping our bearing and knowing what's real and what's not. But just because it's on a screen somewhere, that don't make it real. But should the grid go down, should the internet go down, should you have no access to nothing, you're going to wonder, how long is this going to last? Why did it happen? What's going on? You might get the answers if you got a shortwave. Now, most of them come with a telescopic antenna. And if you use them much, seem like these things always get broke. This radio, I got it all in this little kit here, all my extra batteries, my charger. I was going to show you this if I can find it real quick. Right here. Now, antennas themselves are a bottomless pit of theory and speculation, and what worked once didn't work the next time, and I'm not going to get into all that. But usually, when it comes to receiving, especially on shortwave, because it's usually longer bandwidths that the transmission, or longer wavelengths that the transmissions are on, just stretch out a piece of wire, and it don't gotta be any specific length like it would be if you're like transmitting. That's a whole nother topic. But this kit came with an extra long wire antenna, and all you do is just plug it in where it goes, and you spool this little section of wire out, hang it up in a tree, you know, stretch it between two objects. But this will increase your reception, increase the clarity of what you're hearing. So there's a lot to learn, but when you're just listening, you can develop these skills. The first day they delivered this radio, I sat in my living room chair, turned it on, and messed with it. And in short order, I was listening to two ham radio operators in New Jersey, which I'm going to guess is about 400 to 500 miles from here. And they were discussing how they were going to spend their COVID stimulus checks, because this was right on the verge of COVID back in them days. And they were just two guys talking on the radios. They had no idea I was listening, which is basically irrelevant, but it just shows the capability of being able to a lot of times, if there's a true crisis, you're going to get more of the truth on the ground listening to ham radio guys talk to each other than you are out of some corporate media or government mouthpiece. So you need the capability to monitor the airwaves just for your own informational purposes. It'll keep your morale up. It'll answer questions. It'll allow you to make better decisions in a time of crisis. So I'm going to sign off with that. Like I said, you can read about shortwave, the history of shortwave. You can look at all the new models out there. There's some brands have been there a long time. There's new brands, but shortwave is a real thing, and you need one. You need at least one in your gear, because you get up some morning and flip that light switch, and nothing happens. And 3 weeks later, still ain't nothing happening. You're gonna get curious what's going on out there. And if you're down here in Appalachian, you know, we're remote anyway, but it don't matter where you're at. It's good to know what's going on to the best of your ability. So I recommend everybody who has a mind for preparedness to buy a shortwave radio. Get one with as much functionality as possible. Get one that uses a common battery if you can, and play with it. Pull your antenna out, set up some night late, spin that dial, see what you can hear. Learn what frequencies there's activity on. If you speak Spanish, hey man, you're gonna have a lot to listen to, because Southern Hemisphere, they're using a lot of that down there to communicate with. I don't understand it, but there's a lot of activity. You can listen to Europe, you can listen to the Orient. This is a worldwide receiver, and I think it's good if everybody had one. I recommend it. It's your choice to make, but don't be blind. Don't be blind to the fact that these are out there, and you know, usually $100, $150. It's a one-time buy probably. So give it some consideration. Look into it. I recommend you have one on hand. With that, it's Old Core 1057 signing off. Remember, the maximum effective range of an excuse, 0 meters. Keep the faith. Semper Fi. And look, we've had this talk before. And I wouldn't even mention it if I didn't love you. I mean, listen, we go back at least, what, 6-8 minutes? And I care about you. And I want to help you through this. I know you're struggling. But it's all right. There's no shame in being who you are. And if you have that burning desire deep down in your heart to push that like and subscribe button, go ahead and give into it. There's no judgment here at Appalachian Stand 1057, as long as you ain't some kind of freak or weirdo, but we ain't gonna judge you for pushing that button. You'll feel better, I'll feel better about you, the world will be a better place. So push it, and be happy, put on a smile, and always, always demand liberty, because it's our right. Arlington is full of names who gave us that right. Let's not waste it. Stand up for American values. Stand up for your values. Let's move into the 21st century bold and proud like we're supposed to. Demand liberty.